Rightio, we're live now. Looks like we're live now. I was just waiting for the live to come on, but looks like India are in the prime position to take this test match out and prevent Australia from going to London to play in the World Test Championship against New Zealand. So well done to India so far. But is Rishabh Pant the next Adam Gilchrist? That's what we're talking about on Hoggs vlog. So let's roll the bumper. How are we going, guys? Thanks everyone for joining me. Yes, I was a little shy coming on there. I didn't realise that I was on live there, so I was a little bit starstruck there for a bit. I have just been out to a function with a politician that I have been supporting here in Australia. He's just retired, so it was his retirement function, so I'm a little bit late just hearing his speeches coming through. But there's 4 topics that we're going to talk through quickly before we get to the questions. Vera Coley versus Ben Stokes. I really love that contest. We're going to go back what happened yesterday. Rowitz Sharma with Ben Stokes. And then we're going to have a quick lesson for the spinners with the way that Bess has bowled in this or today. And then we're going to have a quick chat about Rishabh Pant. So let's get to the first one. Virakoli versus Ben Stokes. Now, young cricketers out there, yesterday we saw Virakoli sticking up for his fast bowler, going in and interrupting Ben Stokes when he was talking to Bairstow while they're out mid-pitch conference. Now, every now and then, yes, it's good to get in the verbal barrage with the opposition players to show your strength, but you've got to back it up. Now, it was good captaincy from Ben Stokes to make sure that when Virakoli came out, Ben Stokes was bowling out him. And Virakoli only played 2 balls. There was something in the back of mind of Virakoli today playing Ben Stokes. He wanted to get on top of him. And if you look at the highlights or those 2 balls that he faced with Ben Stokes, he wanted to get after him. And that's why he was caught on the crease with that short ball, which got big on him. Normally, he would leave that ball against the quick bowlers early on in his innings, but he played at it. Now, that's because he was in a bit of a contest with Ben Stokes and he wanted to show who's boss. Nothing against Vera Coley there or Ben Stokes, but this is for youngsters moving forward. If you're going to get in that, make sure you control the situation moving forward and don't let it play on the next decision that you've got to make, playing the next ball or bowling the next ball, because you can come unstuck. And there's plenty of times that I've done that, where I've been verbal to the opposition players, I've lost focus, and I have been absolutely smashed. So just a little lesson for you guys out there. Now, I just see everyone just joining me there. Thanks very much for coming on Hoggs Vlog. Now let's go to the next topic. Rowitz Sharma versus Ben Stokes. This is going to be a very quick one. Just look out the way that Rowitz Sharma has been playing this test match. He's been playing very late. Ben Stokes knew that. He was taking the ball away from Rowitz Sharma, taking it away. He wasn't bringing anything back in, and he set Rowitz Sharma up perfectly for a wider delivery that he reversed wing in and got him out LBW. Now, fast bowlers out there, this is the way to set up a batsman who is on song right now in the innings. Rowitz Sharma was on top of the English bowlers. Ben Stokes, patient, worked him over and set him up for that end swinger. So fast bowlers out there, that's how you stay patient and that's how you set him up for the in swinger. You don't go for it early, you just set him up and let him just play for that away ball, and then bring it back in. Perfect bowling. And Ishan Sharma's done that a lot in Indian conditions. So let's go to the next question, or the next subject that I've got here. Lesson for spinners, Bess struggles. Now, I can understand where Bess is at the moment. Now, this is for off spinners out there. And for me, we had a player who's my best mate, Simon Kadich, who was a wonderful opening batter for Australia. Should have captained Australia, but mind you. He was a player that I just love being alongside for. I'd go to war with Simon Kadich. But we're playing Zimbabwe in one of the limited test matches that I played at the SCG, and I thought I was going to spin Australia to victory. The Zimbabweans were very conservative with me, and they got on top of me because I was chasing wickets. Ricky Ponting went to Simon Kadich. Simon Kadich got a fifer. Now that played on the back of my mind in a sense that Simon Kadich wasn't the frontline spinner. I was the bloke to do that job. He was there to make runs. Now, Joe Root, the right arm off spinner, the game before got fifer, Best wanted to prove a point in this particular innings here. He wants to win the game for England. And in doing that, you lose focus of what you've got to do. What's your role in the team? So sometimes you get caught up with everything that's happening in the background. You can't afford to do that. You've got to focus on the present, what you can do now in that situation. Best had the perfect opportunity to bowl to Pant and Sundar, two left-handed batters. He was the prime man to take those two particular players out of the contest, and he lost a little bit of control there, and Root had to go back to himself. So control the moment. Any cricketer out there, that was a lesson for off spinners, but fast bowlers, batsmen, or spinners, with Virakoli and Bess, what we've learnt today, control the moment. Don't get caught up with what's happening out in the background, and don't get caught up with the verbals. Okay, let's go to the last one. This is the one I like. Take a bow, Rishabh Pant. Is he the next Adam Gilchrist? I'm not going to put him in that calibre. Rishabh Pant is Rishabh Pant. Adam Gilchrist is Adam Gilchrist. I loved playing with Adam Gilchrist. One of my favourite cricketers I've played alongside with. He was a match winner. He changed games with the stroke or with a flick of his fingers, just the way he attacked the opposition bowlers. So if Australia were on the back foot, you could rely on Adam Gilchrist changing the pace of the game, changing the momentum and putting it back in our favours. That is what Rishabh Pant is doing right now. This 100 today, Indian fans, I don't think you realise how important it is, because India were on the back foot there, and it was a game that England could win quite easily if they stayed patient and didn't chase it, and everyone just focused on what they had to do, because the pressure was on India. If they lose this test match, they're out of the World Test Championship. And this is why it is so important to have someone like Rishabh Pant in your team that just plays with flair, plays with freedom, and it looks as though he doesn't play with much care. But in all those attributes, he's so relaxed. He can take the game away from the opposition and put you in a prominent position. So for me, I'm not Rishabh Pant in his own generation is going to be an Adam Gilchrist, and it's going to be Gilchrist back in my time, and it's going to be the Pant time for the keeper batters in this particular era. So that's the way I want to leave it. Anyway, let's get to the questions. Let's see what we've got on board right now. I've got my glasses on because I'm getting a little older. I've just got over the 50 mark. Can we get the first question up, please? Manish Ramani. How you going, mate? Do England miss the trick with the toss is batting? Really, their strength should be to bowl first. Manish, when you go to the subcontinent, you've always got to bat first and you've got to bat big. Now, they were very aggressive against the spinners. They wanted to show, or they wanted to dominate the opposition spinners. And in doing so, they were a little bit too exuberant in that. They were trying to go over the top and play the shots that weren't there for that particular ball. So when you're aggressive, you can be aggressive defensively, but you can also be aggressive with your attacking shots. The only way to be aggressive with your attacking shots is when you do the pitch of the ball and you can go over the top. The other way to be aggressive is to come down the wicket, and if you're not quite to the pitch of the ball, you defend diligently to get bat pad in line with the ball so you can't get LBW, stumped or bowled. You might be able to get caught bat pad and so forth, but you cover those areas of dismissal. So for me, England, although they were aggressive, they weren't productively aggressive because they played too many shots which were get-out shots to those particular situations. They didn't sum up the right scenario for the right time. So, Manish, I think England should have batted first and batted a lot deeper. They should have got at least 300, if not 350 runs on this wicket. Thanks very much for that question, Manish. Austin Dacuna, how are you going, Austin? Very good to see you again. Do you think Rishabh Pant can be the greatest ever wicketkeeper batsman in all formats, as he has achieved so much at the age of 23? Austin, look, the world is his oyster right now. One thing, I always knew that his batting was going to be where it is right now. I don't want anyone to change the way that he bats. Even if he has a little bit of a bad spell, you've got to back him and encourage his initiative, his intuition. Don't try and get him into that defensive mode, because if you start getting him to play conservative, that's where you're going to have a lot of mistakes. So keep that positive attitude. The thing that has impressed me much with this particular series is his keeping behind the stumps. There's been a lot of talk about his keeping behind the stumps before this tournament. He's missed a lot of chances, and every now and then people have blamed that on him costing them India the test match. You can't just blame it on one incident. So I think he's had a harsh deal up until now. He's proved a point with the bat, and he's proved a point with his keeping. His keeping in this series has been sensational under pressure. These are the toughest conditions to keep in international cricket, and he has stepped up. And as I said in a couple of vlogs beforehand, earlier, it's because he's always busy behind the stumps in this series, because he knows there's a huge chance that the ball's going to beat the bat or get the outside edge. So he's got to be switched on all the time. When you come to Australia, the ball doesn't seem to beat the bat as much, and every now and then you can lose focus. So that's something that Rishabh Pant might have to take moving forward when he goes away from subcontinent conditions. Make sure he stays switched on and not knowing that the ball's not going to come to him as much as what it does in subcontinent conditions. So, Austin, that's a very good question. He has got the right ingredients to be the best wicketkeeper batsman in this era. Rakesh Kasaragod. Oh, I hope I got that right. Kasaragod. I think that's the way you say it, Kasaragod. But Rakesh, what's happening to Pujara? Why his bat is behind his pads? Does he need to work on his technique? Look, Pujara has been a dominant figure in that Indian batting lineup in the Test arena for so long. Every now and then you're going to have a little bit of a bad patch, and he was playing the ball in the right method, the Pujara method, but he just didn't read the particular line in that particular instant, and he got his foot in the way rather than his bat playing the ball. So he was found unstuck there. Now, Pujara is a diligent man. Don't write him off. The next time he gets an opportunity on Indian soil, he is going to dominate. He will look out this particular series and the modes of dismissal that he got out on, especially today, and you won't see that happen too often after this. So don't write Pujara off. He is your number 3 for at least the next 5 years. He's probably the most legitimate Test cricketer going around in the batting circles, and you need players like that to win Test matches. So don't write him off. He'll come back with a vengeance. Tanmoy Chakraborty, how are you going, mate? And Birdwan Medical College, hope it all going well there yet again. Thanks for joining me again. Should Rishabh Pant get a permanent spot in T20s as finisher, as he, Hardik and Jadoo will be deadly combination? Tamoy, those 3 particular players should be batting 5, 6, 7, maybe 6, 7, 8, depends how Hardik Pandya is batting. But I think 5, 6, 7, then you've got 8, 9, 10, 11. You've got plenty more bowling options as well. I think those three players are prominent finishers of an innings. But Pant, I think he should be played as a floater. So if you get into the 10th or 11th over, you send Pant out in those particular overs. That's probably where the spinners are predominantly going to bowl, and let him take the game away. I'll even go a step further there. Have him padded up from the 5th over, and if you lose a wicket in that final over of the power play, get Pant in, because that's generally when the opposition teams bring on the spinners, and that's where Pant can really dominate. And then you can have the other two big hitters coming in down at the lower end. So I think those three players should be in the T20 team with Pant as a floater. T20 cricket, you've got to have a little bit of difference. Pranav Jaya. How are you going, Pranav? Another question from you. I had a great question from you last night. First of all, love to you, mate. Thank you. Secondly, thanks very much for that, Pranav, and thanks very much for everyone who's following me from India and around the world. It's fantastic. We all love the game of cricket, and it's great that we can talk about it on this platform. Do you think Coley should have taken clues from Rowitz to bat patiently? Look, I just think Virakoli's going through a patch at the present moment where he's kind of, how can you put it? I don't want to use the term lost, but every now and then through your career, you just go through a patch where things are playing on your mind. And I think he's leading the team extremely well, but when it comes to his batting, I just think he's trying to prove a point in some regard. He doesn't seem to be the Virakoli of old. And I think he'll be glad when this series is over. And yes, he's made a few 50s and as such, but we haven't seen him make those big 100s. So there's just something there mentally that's not Virakoli, that's slightly missing. And it's only a small thing. And what you got to realise, it's with everyone here that's on the platform, whether you work, studying, or whatever you're doing in life, sometimes you're just not switched on with what you're meant to be doing because there's something happening behind the scenes. It could be a phone call that happened that day, or it could be something in the hotel. It could be something with his players that he's trying to G up his players or help someone out that is sort of playing on his mind, that's affecting his game. So we don't know what it is, but it's only a small thing. And when he gets that sorted out, that's when he'll go back and make the big run. So don't overanalyze it, because sometimes it's not about the way he's playing. It's about something else that's on his mind that just while the bowler's coming in, it's just in the back of his mind, and it causes him to lose focus. And it's happened to me a lot. And it's happened to a lot of great cricketers at the important moment. And it's happened to all of us. How do we control that moment? We can only find out ourselves, and Virakoli can only find out himself as well. Okay, let's go to the next question. That was a very good question for Pranav. Anurag Morktavi, how are you going? Thanks very much. I think this is the first question you had on this platform. So welcome, Anurag. And hi, Hoggy, big fan here. If you were playing today, how do you reckon you would plan to bowl against Rishabh Pant when he is in full flow? For me, I know that his go-to shot is generally coming down the wicket and trying to hit you over the top. Yes, he's got the sweep shots and the reverse sweep shots. That's fine. For me, I'd be trying to get him to sweep with bowling a lot of quicker deliveries with a lot of more overspin on it. So I'd try and bowl my leggy normally out that particular angle there, but I'd go to an angle like that with my leg spinner, just to try and get a little bit of purchase off the wicket, but the extra bounce, and with the quicker pace, trying to keep him on the crease and trying to get him to sweep, that extra bounce might get a top edge. That's how I'd attack him early. So for me, prevent him from coming out of the crease and get him to be a little bit impatient and try and play the big sweep shot. That's how I'd approach Rishabh Pant. And in doing that quicker bowling, I still keep my mid off and mid on up to try and get him to charge out of the crease. And for me, I'd actually go back and study Rishabh Pant with the videos and look out clues where his hands might do something different, his stance might do something different, where he is looking to premeditate to charge. And if I can pick up those clues as a bowler, once I've got that in my back of my mind, instinctively when I'm coming in, I'll be able to pick up those clues after a number of overs bowling to him, and then I'll be able to change the length that I bowl. If you remember, Axar Patel was bowling to one of the right-handed English batsmen, and they charged him early, and Sunil Gavaskar was making a comment that he had made that foot movement and that made that aggressive approach coming down the wicket and allowed Axar Patel to drop the ball shorter. There are clues that spinners pick up when they've bowled against an opposition player for a number of times, that they're able to adjust their line and length. So that's something that I'd be looking at with Rishabh Pant, just those clues on the videos to see when he's going to charge me, and that's where I'd look to bowl a little shorter. But I'd have the protection out deep for the cut shot to protect it if he's quick enough to get back and play that cut shot. But I'll be trying to read him. Good question, that. It's really made me think, and I hope I've given you the right answer there too, or an answer that you can think about to improve your game, or anyone that you're trying to help out there to improve their game. Nikli Brahmhasa, how you going? Nikhil? I think that's Nikhil. Brahmhasa? Yes. Thanks very much for joining me, Nikhil. What do you think the ideal lead should be for India, which could put England into trouble? For me, all right, that's the first question of this lot. I think that the lead that they've got now has already put England into trouble. I think they've got Sundar and Patel. They're going to probably help get India another 20 to 50 runs in front, and that's probably going to bat England out of the game. But in saying that, what plan should English bowlers stick to in order to pick those 3 remaining wickets? So for me, you've got to bowl to the tail enders like you're bowling to the top order players. You can't rest on your laurels. So you've just got to attack that good length and have that natural variation where the ball's turning or it's going on straight from one end. So I'd go with Leach from one end, and I'd actually go with Ben Stokes from the other end, because he's a little bit quicker than Anderson, more aggressive, and the tailenders don't really like that, and there's still enough juice in this wicket for that extra pace and bounce to travel those tailenders. Okay, that's a very good question. Have we got another question there, or is that it for the evening? That's it for the evening. Now, thanks very much for joining me, guys. If you want to follow me on Instagram and Twitter, that'd be great. It's @Brad_Hogg. And I love getting on Twitter and Instagram, answering all the questions. But thanks very much for joining me tonight. Tomorrow, it's going to be a big day. If Axar Patel and Sundar bat for a period of time, England might lose this game by the first session on day 4. It's interesting cricket ahead. Have a good day, and let's enjoy tomorrow.